I've spoken at length about the perceived two-tier judiciary system here in the UK and how certain people with certain, dare I say, protected characteristics are often treated more leniently in a court of law than maybe others who don't have those protected characteristics. However, sometimes it seems that it goes beyond two-tier justice, and the example we're looking at today is an example truly of no justice. An asylum seeker who sexually attacked his own stepdaughter will not be sent back to Africa so he can give emotional support to his wife as she looks after her children. Now, I will say now that despite lots of digging around in the news, not only will they not reveal the identity of this person, but also there is no reference as to whether or not the stepdaughter who he sexually abused is the daughter of his wife that he is now purporting to give emotional support to in a bid, and a successful bid at that, to stay in the country. The offender, who cannot be named, and I'm not quite sure why he cannot be named when he has actually already been found guilty, not just arrested for, not just accused of, but sentenced for crimes against his stepdaughter, won the right to stay in the UK on human rights grounds. Now, what dare I say about the human rights of his victim, his very own stepdaughter who he sexually attacked and was jailed for? It was ruled that if the man, originally from Central Africa, was removed, his wife would lose all emotional support and it would negatively affect her children's well-being. So not only they're not considering the well-being or the human rights of his victim, the justice system are potentially putting further children, his wife's children, not known whether they're related to his original victim, in potential harm's way, in danger from a man who is a convicted sexual offender. Sorry to interrupt the video very, very quickly. If you're not already subscribed, please just hit that subscribe button. It's completely free. There'll be no hard feelings if you change your mind at a later date. At the moment, only 5% of people who watch my videos regularly are actually subscribed. So let's change that around a little bit. Hit that button and it'd be greatly appreciated. It helps me more than you know. There'll also be a link in the description down there if you want to buy us a beer. But for now, back to the video. Also, if his wife requires emotional support, possibly as a result of his own actions, then surely a man who is convicted of sexual crimes, a convicted sexual predator, and there was no reference in this article as to how old the stepdaughter was, so we could even allege that there are other crimes that have taken place. He is not the man to be relying upon for emotional support, and the very fact that the justice system allows this defence and allows this excuse for him to stay in this country, invariably at the taxpayer's expense, because let's face it, no one is going to employ this man, is an absolute insult to the victims, and it's an insult to the British public, who the justice system is really there to protect. We are allowing a man to stay in a country who is a convicted sex offender. Just let that register for a moment. Yet there are people serving multiple years in prison because they shared tweets or they shared Facebook posts protesting against mass, uncontrolled, legal and illegal immigration, some of whom are people coming in from abroad, from places like Africa, who are unvetted, unregistered, and we have no idea who these people are. Yet this person has shown their true colours. They have shown who they truly are. They are a vile sexual predator. Yet we keep them here, almost certainly at taxpayers' expense, because of their human rights. Well, what about the human rights of the victims? What about the human rights of the public at large, who need to be protected from people like this man? This is a disgrace. This isn't two-tier justice. This is no f***ing justice. The decision came more than 3 years after he was found guilty of a sexual assault of 3 young girls. Again, no ages reference. He denies the crimes. Before my blood pressure gets too high, I will just refer to one other statistic, one really scary statistic given in this article. The number of foreign criminals at large, basically free, in the UK has rocketed from just about 12,000 to 17,500 in 1 year. Between 2023 and 2024, a record high. There are now 5,500 more foreign criminals on the streets of the UK in just 1 year. And yet the boats keep coming. In this instance, the unidentified sex offender arrived in the UK more than 10 years ago and has applied for asylum. His claim was rejected, but he eventually obtained leave to remain on human rights grounds because deporting him was deemed a disproportionate interference in his right to a family life with his wife. Again, all about the rights of the perpetrator, all about the rights of the vile individual who shouldn't have been here in the first place, who has attacked and sexually assaulted young girls, all about his rights and not about the rights of the people around him who might be in danger and of the public at large. The sex offender argued that he had a well-founded fear of persecution in Africa because of his political opinions, or maybe because he's a dirty, filthy racist, and it would be unduly harsh on the children for him to be removed from the UK. I don't think he is the sort of person that you want helping to raise your children, helping to protect your children, and helping to protect you. The original hearing, which decided he should be allowed to remain, found he continues to pose a risk. So they've already accepted that this is a dangerous man, someone who continues to pose a risk to young girls. However, once again, he's allowed to remain to protect his human rights. Admittedly, this did not fall during Keir Starmer's jurisdiction. However, this is now under Keir Starmer's jurisdiction. This needs to be stopped so there are no more stories like this 10 years down the line when the number of foreign criminals walking our streets is even higher. Stay safe and stay sane, everyone.